Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we get started, make sure you check out homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com. Check out our traveling schedule. We got an RV, y'all. We in the RV now. Woo, woo. So a big shout out to our sponsors. Remember that homeschooling was never meant to be done alone. It takes a village. So major shout out to a couple of our sponsors that are mission to ensure that you find your tribe. So Classical Conversations is a nationwide curriculum provider that also offers community support. So check them out, Classical Conversations. And then Base Camp is an amazing free app that encourages community building. So if you haven't downloaded that app, definitely download it because you can find some local homeschoolers or local, families in general and tutors. They're trying to build it so that you can find activities and everything like in the area that you're in. So check them out. It's free to download. So yes, yes. And today we have with us Janaya. Janaya, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Janaya. Yeah, I'm Janaya. I always start with the whole, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, but I love it. So I gotta talk
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, I'm a wife and I'm a mom of four little babies. Um, Starting from soon to be six down to one. And it is hype over here all
Really.
the time. Um, yeah, and I love all things families and birth. I'm a doula, also, so I love all the things with families and children, especially, homeschooling.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. I think I talked about myself
A little bit.
a
Well, a
little
little
bit.
bit. Okay,
Yeah.
so we know you have four. We know you're
Mhm.
homeschooling, and we know that you love family.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them four and why you chose to homeschool.
Yeah. Man. So before I became a mom, and a wife, I was doing early Head Start. So I was early Head Start teacher. So I was like a parent advocate slash home teacher. So I was going to different people's homes, and helping them teach their babies, which they were already doing. So just kind of like encouraging it, I guess, to a degree, and providing resources and like doing all the check-ins on like making sure their needs were met, like on a social level, housing and different things like that. Um, it's a low income based program, but really it was just everyday families, and just showing up as a support to them. And so I was doing that, and I was seeing all these babies like, be very smart, and I'm like, I don't know if I was as smart as a baby, but I'm just watching, I was really amazed by that, like, just seeing them learning with their moms and their dads and seeing how we provide this one little tool. I come back the next week, and the baby know the ABCs, and the baby can barely talk. Um Babies are reading books, like very, very young, just by encouraging, the families like read a book every day. If you can read one at every meal, every nap, and bedtime, just read one every day, and just seeing like the growth every week with these babies. I was like, I want to do that when I have a baby. Like when I had some babies, not knowing that I was gonna have two the first round.
Oh, you had twins.
Yes. Yes, I have twins. So, um, yeah, I was extremely encouraged by the experience with doing the early Head Start program. So when I had my twins, yes, I was ready though, like to a degree. I was ready to teach them. I may not be ready to change a lot of diapers and breastfeed twins, but I was ready to read to them. I was ready to be all up in their face and watch them grow, you know? So that's pretty much where it started was me being an early Head Start teacher. And um, I taught dance too for a little bit. So I just knew I loved being around children a lot. Um, and so it just felt natural to stay at home with my babies, longer than what I initially planned, to be honest. Um, but it's been going well. So I'm like, I don't want to stop it. And I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm at home with the babies now, and I am a doula from time to time, and it's just been an amazing journey. It's been really, really cool. So watching them grow.
And we see a learning wall behind you, like with the days of the week and what's the
Yeah.
number. So, like,
Yeah.
you don't set it up.
Yeah, this is their whole little space up in here. We call it the calm space because they're all 6 and under, so they need
Mhm.
space
They need calm. They need
to
to.
get
They,
calm,
they
yeah,
need to
so
know.
this really
Hey,
like a
hey.
little play thing at this
Yes.
point because 'cause they've pretty much mastered this thing, so it's not as fun, so I don't make them, like, sit and do circle time with this anymore, because they just really just free for all play with it just up on the wall, so.
How did you find your groove? Like, what's your schedule look like?
Mm, good one, good question. I think just in each season, and I don't wanna sound like a Hallmark card, but, uh, each season bring different things, so, like, real recently, the season I can really think about where it got different, where when I was pregnant, and
With
I
the
felt so
youngest
like
one.
yes, with the
Okay.
one-year-old,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, like, I'm sick, you know? And I'm still their teacher. My husband's still their teacher, and he's like in school trying to make it and working full time, and we pregnant, and this is
A
pregnant
lot.
life, Um, and my son, he's the baby after the twins. He's 2 years younger than them, so he was still very small. He was breastfeeding while I was pregnant. So life was it was beautifully chaotic. But we managed to kind of go with the ebb and flow, but really we just did what fit our family. We like still like this method of like unschooling is what we kind of do, where we're trying to get away from the model of, traditional school. We love it, right? Because I was raised in that, so I can't knock it because I'm here because of that. But I unschooled because I didn't want my family to feel like frigid or tight or like constricted to a degree, and I wanted us to just be us. So that was a beautiful season during that time where we really had to make it us and not make it look like anything that was happening around us because a lot of it we were in the house during most parts of it, having some like risk factors going on. Um, and it was cold and flu season too. So we weren't trying to bring germs in. So we kind of had to move around a little bit more around the house and we got creative. We, you know, instead of being so tight and uptight about this board being the learning space, it's like, okay, show me what y'all can do with this. What y'all think? What should be up what should be up on the board? Um, we really like crack down on some of the clutter too, even where we start pulling away some of the toys so that they can really like grow in the things that they had, like, and not just be throwing it everywhere. Cause pregnancy and you know how the feelings go. So I didn't want to be overwhelmed. And I wanted them to still enjoy their space. So a lot of it is just going with the season and seeing what our family needs and not be focused on try to hit like, okay, circle time at this time. Um, outside at this time, library this day, all of these different things that we're so used to being tight because it helps to be able to predict, but it also taught them in the time to kind of go with the flow a little bit more than usual. And that's it's helpful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you found your groove, like it sounded like you started one way and was like, okay, like, all right, we got this, gotta had to call an audible because now I'm pregnant and this schedule's
Hmm.
not working for us anymore. So
Yeah.
now we about to do this.
Yeah.
Now we're
Yeah.
about to do this and
Yeah.
let us be great in this space, in this time.
Yeah, and
So
even just including them in that, and just asking them more. Like I realize more because I'm like, I'm kind of sitting on the couch a little bit right now. So what do y'all want to do? Because I am a little sleepy. Uh,
I'm not gonna
so
initiate
what do
anything,
y'all want to
guys.
do? Yes,
Yeah, it's like what? Just tell me, make suggestions.
please. But
Motivate
then I
me.
saw them just take charge, in a way of like, I'm seeing this one child that was more reserved and kind of sat on the back seat of things be a leader, and like, I want to do this game, or they made up so many games Some of 'em I had to write down because 'cause I'm like, "That's pretty good." You know? We gotta circle that one back, you know? And just gave them so much more, like, the ability to be the creative directors in the home 'cause the main director was down a little bit.
Right,
So,
right. A little
yeah.
bit, but then your team came in and was like, you know what? We see
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
we can still keep going. Like
Mhm.
rest. Go ahead and rest. Watch us do this. Like we about
Mhm.
to play this, we about to build this, we about to do
Yeah.
yes. I love
Yeah.
that.
It
So
was
y'all
good.
found your groove. Yes.
Mhm.
So how do you like are you a part of any co-ops or anything?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I definitely got a shout out my co-op, Engaged Detroit.
Okay.
Yes. That's the family, and they rallied too. We weren't able to get out as much, to do all the things, but they rallied too and checked in, and, our she probably wouldn't call herself the CEO, but our CEO, um, Miss Bernita, incredible, checked in and make sure we was good and had the things that we needed. And yeah, it's just I don't know, it's a beautiful space. I can talk all day about Engage Detroit, but I'm definitely gonna shout them out because every family in Metro Detroit, especially Black and Brown families, need to connect there because we got all the things, resources, classes, like that's accessible to everybody, where you don't gotta think about shelling out hundreds of dollars a month just to be a part of a family, really. It's a community for sure, but it feels like a family where people look out for each other and connect to hundreds and hundreds of resources. Because you see, our group chat is hundreds and hundreds of resources, and it's important to connect to spaces like that to where you can feel connected at all times. So, yeah, engage Detroit.
Community. I'm glad you found it early on. Like
Yeah, yeah.
community means a lot and that support. And Miss Bonita is definitely like huge
Yes.
on all of that. So I love it for her. Ah,
She a real one.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
Okay, so we got the community, we got our, our flexible schedule. Do you use any kind of curriculum?
I kind of pull from different ones. Like I like to learn through play. I like the talking is teaching model. So that's like a program that they use in like intermediate school districts that I was actually trained on. That you use like books and like every opportunity to talk to your child and to teach your child through just through their natural environment. So I like to use that. We use some of the good and the beautiful, but pretty much anything that I can pull from, I pull from it just to like curate something for each child because all of them are so different, which everybody know that, but when you think about it, when you look at a curriculum and be like, okay, this will work, but not like that, so I pull from different things and then I make stuff my own too. Like I'm not too savvy, but I make up some things and put it together and I'll pull like some blocks together and we'll build something and then we'll write out something or we'll like something random happened the other day. We went to a grocery store and a man offered my children a fish head and I'm not a fisher. I don't fish. But I couldn't say no because that's a learning opportunity right on the fly
Right.
right there, right? Because he found out we homeschool. He like, y'all could do something with this. So we dissected it, we looked at it, then we read a book about it, then they drew what they saw, and then they talked about what they thought, about the experience and the sensory part of it, what they felt, what they heard, what they saw. Um, and so things like that too, like on the fly kind of happens where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say yes to this random fish head that
Right. Even though it's nasty. Like it's nasty, but we
is
gonna do
very
it though.
nasty.
We gonna do it. We gonna do
but
it.
but we loved it.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
is awesome. So, okay, with the gap, because I know with mine, because I
Mhm.
have an 8 and 11-year-old. I credit the 11-year-old for the 8-year-old. Like I say, oh, you taught her like everything.
Mhm.
So with
Yeah.
your, with your six, down to one,
Mhm.
how advanced do you see the younger ones because of the older two? Like how, like is it there a lot of differentiating that has to take
Mm.
place, or is everyone like pretty much like flowing together? I know the 1 year
Mm.
old, we know,
Yeah. And he
but
a baby for real.
mhm,
Like it's so funny because like the other babies, they were kind of like but he a baby. But I
Oh,
could definitely still see, cause he flipping through pages of books, like, obviously, like, he's reading at his level, right?
right.
But, like, thin pages, like storybooks, he's turning the pages because he's seeing them do that all day. Where just the baby before that, he's about 3 years older than him. He wasn't interested in doing that at one, so it is interesting to see how each time it does, like, have a trickle down effect. But I definitely saw them, like, teaching each other things, like, cause baby boy, like I said, my oldest son, he learned to walk super fast. Where this baby, he didn't really care about it. He liked to be baby born, so he didn't really care
Yeah.
about the walking thing. But I did notice as far as gross motor wise, for sure. But a thing that I noticed with little baby is that he's putting puzzle pieces on the board, whether it's right, but he's like putting puzzle pieces on like puzzle boards and stuff, and like doing little stuff like that where I'm like, he's interested and he's engaged and he'll sit there for like 10 minutes and do that and be doing his thing because he not connecting it, but he's doing it. And it is interesting to see because he's seeing them do that. Um, which is kind of why I'm here too. We talk about my family, we're an unplugged family, so the majority of the time our children are not on screens and stuff. We're not against it completely, but our model is an unplugged model. So to see even the baby be engaged for 10 minutes with a puzzle and not on me, because he'd be on me, uh,
He said,
it's
I'm trying to hold
cool.
on to this position as long as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's cool. It's cool to see, but and even like audibly, he's making more sounds, and making more word sounds like mama, dada, and stuff. He was doing that sooner. He was actually like, I'm gonna say, even in the hospital, I feel like maybe I was hearing stuff, but I feel like he was saying mama, like,
Whoa.
yeah, like ma, you know,
You never know. I wouldn't
right,
put it past any of them. I like
right,
you heard it, girl. You heard it, cause
right.
hey, you really don't know these kids. Like I feel like we underestimate kids' abilities
Hmm.
all the time because it's just like, oh, like
Yeah.
should they be doing that? Because you always, oh, well, at this age they should be doing this, or at this
Hmm.
age they, or oh no, they don't start doing this until
Yeah.
then. And then you have this child that's doing all of what they said they not supposed to be doing to like six,
Hmm.
9 months, and it's just like, well, this one.
Hmm.
Then they get to talk. Oh, they making room for somebody. Don't do that. Don't.
Right,
First of
right.
all, don't
Stop.
wish that on. Don't do that. Like
Content will
my
break me
baby's
out
just
right now.
smart. Okay, let my baby just be
Right.
smart.
That's so true. That's so
But
true. That's a good thing to say though, because you do think about where we kind of like set certain like limits on children. You don't really realize it until they do something. You be like, wait, should you be doing that? It's like they doing it, so yeah.
like, but they doing
Like,
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, they should be.
yeah.
I know I was listening to something. These somebody had Steve Harvey playing. And it was, I don't know if it was a commercial or what, but either way, somebody had called in to talk about their baby reading and stuff at 2. It's like the
Hmm.
baby's reading, talking in full sentences. And
Yeah.
Steve Harvey gonna tell the lady talking about something, don't nobody care. Like all babies do that or something like that. And I'm just like, wait, first of all, all babiys are not reading that too. Give this
No,
woman her
no.
props. She's saying that she's been working with her baby. She's
Yeah.
proud of where her baby's at.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like he just downplayed. I know, he's a comedian, so
Yeah. And
whatever.
it's probably
But
just been a minute since he's seen
a
of
baby,
a baby
yeah, it's
doing
like,
something, yeah.
oh, what? You was reading that too, Steve?
Right.
Um, but I know that we underestimate because I've seen babies as young as like 9, 10 months pointing out sight words on the like,
Mhm.
somebody
Yeah.
doing that with that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the little smart baby.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like, should I
I
have spent
agree.
more time? Like,
Right, right. I was on it, like, with my daughters when they first came out, because I knew. I'm like, the first 3 years is crucial, you know? So I was on and I was like, but also that was their learning style too, where quickly I learned when my son came, that wasn't everybody's learning style because he was
right.
not for it, the sitting down and with the little abacus and counting and stuff.
Oh, yes, you know how to work one of those.
He
Oh,
won for
girl.
that.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, he jumping on the trampoline counting instead,
Oh,
and so it
yes.
was interesting to have that curve because I was kind of like again, the unschooling model, because I'm like, realize I'm like, I'm uncomfortable with him not learning this way. Or maybe not uncomfortable, but I was just, what other way? Because the
Right.
girls are learning this way. And this is what I know too. So it made me push me outside of my comfort zone for real, of like, okay, learning looks like him laying on his stomach, counting his Cheerios, and throwing like footballs across the room and stuff like that, which sounds very like cliche boy, but that's what he needed. His body was doing exactly what he needed. And you see children like get in those confined like standards and stuff, and then they start to go down, like as far as their comprehension, their attention span, and like just different things, just because it's not what their body is needing at the time. So
It's like, I want to move, but you're telling me I can't. So it's like,
mhm.
what do I do?
And because we see these two little girls sitting here,
Mm,
that too. They was the 2-year-olds doing stuff. They was signing, and they knew more sign than actual words at the time. Well, I was like, okay, okay. And then they were sitting there in their little seats, ready. Then my son was climbing out the seat. So I said, okay.
Look, ready.
Okay, something different.
Ready to do something else. Yes. I
Yeah.
know. And you talk on Head Start and like, because Head Start typically starts what, 3? Like 2, 3?
Early Head Start is 0 to 3. So when
Oh,
mom was
0 to
pregnant,
3.
we at the house. At least for that program, we were doing home visits at the house when mom was pregnant. So
Okay.
it
So, and
starts
I didn't
just
even
there
know
too.
Head Start had that component where you're actually going into the home
Hmm.
you're going into the home to work with the child or work with the parent.
With both. So with that one, it's not available in every city. I would love if they were. Honestly, I probably sign up
Right.
myself, just to have that extra eyes and like, the extra support and them to see another person come and like, teach in a way. But um the model that we went through, it was at the Saginaw ISD, is parents as teachers. So you're supporting the parent as their child's first teacher. Um and it's beautiful. I'm sorry. I just love it. And I think about it, I can really go there because I see it in my own home. But it was this one mom that I was with from birth. So her baby was in the belly. And I saw her reading to her baby in her belly. And baby was so lively during that time. Every single time I'm seeing baby kicking and moving and stuff. So you think about how those early literacy moments happen from like literally in the womb. And so I would encourage that mom to read your baby every day. Every meal you eat, try to read her a book. And she came out, the baby loved books. She loved books. And that was her how she went to sleep every night up until I still keep in contact with that mom. Um that was about 5 years ago. She said she still reads. She's a fluent reader, the baby and everything. She's a big girl now, but fluent reader and everything. So that program is like geared towards encouraging the parents to be their child's first teacher, and it's dope.
And I love that. And it makes you think like, why wouldn't that be in every city? Why isn't that around,
Hmm.
more areas? Because I feel like
Hmm.
I want to say my oldest went to Head Start, maybe.
Hmm.
I feel like she was in the Head Start program at 3. I think, because I was a teacher, so my income was definitely
Hmm.
restricted. So I feel
Yeah.
like, if I'm not mistaken, she was in Head Start, and maybe it was like titled something different in Norfolk. But either way, she was in a program like that, but it wasn't like a parent led program or a
Mm.
parent involved program. I just dropped her off, and she was,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was
So
there.
yeah, they have center base too. So, but the
Hmm.
program I went was with the parents who were at home, was a home based program. And some of the parents did work, so I would have to catch them and they schedule, which was always interesting sometimes.
How long did you spend with them?
I think it was an hour and a half. I think it was a 90-minute visit.
Okay.
Um, if I'm not mistaken, I would go over a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it. And it's like you playing with babies all the time. And I just loved it. And just sitting and talking with the moms. You think that's postpartum, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I'm like, I know this helped them so much, like
yeah.
to have that support, especially new
Mhm.
moms too. Like, we don't
Mhm.
be knowing what we doing. We just
Mhm.
get sent home with this fresh baby, and it's just
Mhm.
like, oh, figure it out.
Get it.
But to
Yeah.
know that support, like someone coming into your home and helping you, guiding you, oh,
Mhm.
that is so. Were they signing up for this program themselves, or were they recommended, or how did that work?
So there was a couple different instances where families will be recommended either like court, court
Okay.
directed. I didn't have a lot of those on my caseload is what they call them. I didn't have a lot of those families, but sometimes it'd be recommended from the hospital. Sometimes your cousin had it, so you signed up for it because you would get free diapers as well. So it was a wraparound service to a degree. You would get free diapers. You would get like, I think rides to appointments. I would take some moms to appointments and stuff. Um, and you'll get books and toys and things like that too. So it has some incentives. But where I was teaching and where I was doing that at, it was pretty well known, the program. Because maybe it was that word of mouth of like this was a thing that's out there and it was pretty small town,
Was
Saginaw.
that in the? Oh, was it in Michigan?
Yep, Saginaw, Michigan. Yep.
Okay. Cool,
Yep.
cool. No, I need that. Like I envision, like I want to do a program where, and I used to talk about this all the time, where like which like you said, the court mandated, like if people are in danger of losing their
Yeah.
children or
Mhm.
something's happened where, CPS has gotten involved,
Yeah.
I will want to provide classes for those parents,
Yep.
like so that they can gain an understanding and become more intentional about their parenting and
Yeah.
understanding their role more. Because a lot of time we're just repeating cycles. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like it's not meant to come from a malice standpoint, but it's
Mhm.
malice in what it is, but
Yeah.
you don't know any different. And so it's
Mhm.
like, well, this is how my
You
mama
don't know what you
raised me,
don't
or this is how
know.
my grandma yeah, this is how my
Mhm.
grandma raised me. So it's like, what is the problem?
Right.
But it's a problem. And it's a problem because you got in trouble. And so
Right.
now it's like unlearning that problem, like
Yeah.
unlearning that and seeing and knowing that other people do things different.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, that would be really incredible and like access to like all different groups when I think about it. Of course, there's always a
Yes.
thing of funding, but because that it was grant funded that program, and it almost seemed like every year they were like, "No, the funding, we don't know," and that's like it
And
shouldn't be
isn't
like
Head
that.
Start a thing? Like, isn't Head Start in jeopardy or something right now?
I
I don't
believe
keep up with
so.
everything, but I feel like my sister just recently told me that they're talking about stopping that program.
Yeah, I believe so, which a lot of places too can get like, well, I won't say a lot, that's probably overstretching it, but um some cities do have like other funds that they can go through that will probably bring down the access to the
To
multitude of
more
people that they
family,
can reach.
yeah.
Yeah, but there are some like emergency funds sometimes and like different organizations and nonprofits that kind of pair up and be like, okay, we can partner and we'll provide this amount of funding, but it do get a little tricky. But yeah, I would love like now as a doula, I try to incorporate all of that stuff when I meet families. And right now I'm not technically practicing. But when I see a mama out in public, if I see a mom out somewhere, I'm her informal doula. Like I get her number and just check in and like, just be there because I obviously know what it's like. But then it's like when you see a mama out, help a mama out,
Right? Oh,
you
that need to
know?
be on a shirt, honey. When you see a
Yeah, for
mama
real.
out, help a mama out.
We might have to
Yes.
do that. We might need to
Yeah, yeah,
wear them.
no, you got
For
that. You
real.
got that one. How
Mhm.
did you get into the doula work?
Um, Long story short, rough birth experiences myself, and I was just desperate for help for my second birth, because the 2 came the first time. And so
Yeah.
the second time, I was like, "I don't wanna do it like that," I don't want another C-section, emergency C-section like that, and so I'm a researcher, so I just was looking at stuff and trying to find stuff, and so I found a doula, and I loved her, and, talking to her, she was like, "Oh, you know your stuff, you don't need me." She's like, "You should become one." And I was like, "Help me still."
Right?
Help. And so she ended up not being able to be there because she caught COVID. And so me and my husband did it ourselves. We were my doula.
You
And
did it at
so
home?
no, no, we were in the
No?
hospital setting.
Okay.
Yeah. But even with that, like, still not having that person, that extra person to kind of have eyes and ears on things. Some stuff went a little south with that birth as well. So it's this organization called Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association in Detroit. And they had a doula program through them. And so I looked up them just to kind of see if they were still doing it. And then I saw that they were doing a training. So I'm like, bet. So I applied and I got in. Um, and lo and behold, I was pregnant during the training. I ended up finding out we were pregnant during that time. And so it literally was divine timing of the father of like me finding out about this training and then needing to have one and do it myself because my doula I got again caught COVID for my recent birth as well. So
Crazy.
my
So it was
husband.
meant like, oh no, you gonna guide yourself, girl. Like
Yes, right, right. That's why when me and my husband pretty much came to that thought, like it was just meant for us to do it like this. Because then he was my doula. He was not
oh,
playing up in that room because he was so more like knowledgeable through my knowledge that I learned in training, and then my doula that I had really made sure that he was like on it and knowledgeable and confident in what he knew to help me too. So it was good. It went well this last go round. so so
yes,
yeah.
I want to see. I want to have more. Like I want some twin boys. Whenever I tell people this, they're like,
I
"What?"
love it.
I want twin boys. That's why I got geek when you say you had twins first go around.
Yeah.
Um, but I also want to do it at home though. I want to have
Mhm.
home
Yes.
births. And I want to do like all that good
Yes.
stuff. I had a midwife with the second one. The first
Mm.
one, girl, I had a whole birth plan because she was just
Mm.
so like planned and just plotted and just everything. And girl, I
Mhm.
got in that hospital and they didn't follow nothing. It's like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
nothing that I wrote down. I thought this was a contract. Nothing mattered. None of it.
Right. Yeah.
They did what they wanted, okay, and they told me
Mhm.
what to do the whole time, and
Mm.
it wasn't pleasant, and
Mm.
it I didn't want that experience again. And so the second time though, girl, I didn't make it to the hospital. I was in labor whole day, didn't realize it because they induced me with the first one. So I didn't go in labor.
Oh
So I didn't know
wow.
what that felt like. The
Exactly.
whole day I'm like, oh, it feels like I gotta poop. I'm in the classroom, I'm teaching. But I was talking to my teachers friends, like, oh, it just feels like I gotta poop. Like I don't know why. Like, like, and everybody's just like, oh, like, well, try to use the bathroom or this and this. Like, just give us
Wow.
suggestions. Whole day I had been in labor. I made it to the hospital probably like an hour before I gave birth.
Wow. That's the way to do it though, but wow.
Right, I know, right? Because it
Right.
was nothing, no nothing. I went in there, and next thing you know, baby out. Like, ooh, okay, well, right? 'Cause,
Oh, wow.
yeah, but I just know that the next go round, I just want to do it different. Like, I want to
Yeah.
do it just so much more naturally. Like, that was cool. And both of them, like, they didn't leave the room, like, type deal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they were there, and like, it was an experience, but I just
Yeah.
know it's a different, especially if you have a doula from the beginning. It's like
Yeah.
the relationship that y'all have would be,
Yes. It's
you need
powerful.
that.
It could definitely be a powerful thing. I have not heard of any like horror stories from doulas. Personally, I've heard a lot on the end of like doctors and nurses though.
Of course.
Um, but at the same time, it's like even if your doula can't be there for whatever reason, like if you get a really good one that's really like attentive and like shows up for you, like she can literally prepare you or your support person, whoever that might be, the grandma, husband, or whoever, to be ready for that. Like for to them to step into those shoes if they have to, because a mom should never have to do that because she's literally giving birth and she needs to be in that zone, the birth zone, and not advocacy zone and like what's in that tube zone and what's doing where's my placenta going zone. Like no, she shouldn't have to think about that, like so I'm a huge advocate of like moms being able in the birth zone um while somebody else
Worried
can
about
voice and make sure even though it's her voice, but they can know what she wants and desires so that she can stay in that zone. um and if she desires to be a, the other shoe. It's not a forced thing. It's not a thing of where she has to like, I don't know, what's the word? Basically stretch herself to already at the limit to a degree, right? And then you got to stretch yourself further to be advocated while giving birth. Like that's a lot to ask for. So definitely get you a doula, like you said. And
Yeah,
midwives, they just think of it differently too. So if anybody, I always encourage people, if you can get a midwife, for the most part, they just see birth differently. They see it more naturally and like a thing a mom is capable of doing rather than something that like a medical happening, like a medical event, like a medical emergency is
medical,
not.
yes.
Yeah.
I know I forgot the documentary I watched that had that's
Mm.
the reason why like I wrote out the whole birth plan and everything
Yes.
because it's like you're not gonna do that to me, but they
Yeah.
did it to me.
Yeah.
Still got in
Same.
there. And, first time being a first time mom or first time parent in general, it's a lie because we
Yeah.
really don't know things until you know them.
Yep.
And so just to
Mhm.
think that we really get sent home with these new little creations with no manual and no
Human.
assistance is just
Yep.
crazy. Like
Real
it's a
human.
crazy concept.
Yeah.
And then like 6 weeks, you're supposed to go back to work here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like, oh my gosh, like somebody need to redesign this because I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, yeah, I hear you on that. Like, even though like instinctively I believe like that we are made for this at the same time when it'd be like sometimes lacking is a village. And then when you are trying to do stuff differently for multiple reasons, of like, childhood trauma or like just generational patterns that just you don't want to follow. But it's like, okay, but what else? Like,
Right.
what
What's the
else to do?
alternative? Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be the thing that be, I think, missing. So then innately, like you get into you go back into the cycle. It's like, 'cause
Yeah,
then,
what's comfortable, what
yeah,
you know. Because
yeah,
then definitely you get to talking to your family, you talking to them
mm,
about doulas and stuff. Like, girl, who is that? What's
right, right.
the
Who doula? Who
doctor?
is
Yeah,
doula?
man. We don't know what
Yeah,
side she on. Like
right,
what?
right.
Yeah, so it's like different, encouragement wise, because introducing new concepts, even with the homeschooling, you know how that's met oftentimes. Like, you doing
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, they're not gonna socialize, that's the biggest one. They ain't
What?
gonna know how to make friends. It's like, they don't know how to make friends at school.
Right?
They don't learn
Yeah,
how to make friends
no.
at school.
Look, nobody, me mine, nobody will ever come out their mouth with that because that's oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Not with
yeah,
them. Not with
yeah,
them. But it's wild that the socializing thing. But I always bring it back to the actual definition of socializing. When people think of
yeah,
socializing, they think of it just like, with interacting with your peers and all that
yeah.
good stuff. But socializing in sense means like getting you acclimated with the standards and the norms of society.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's teaching you how to act,
Wow.
basically. So behavior wise, it's teaching you the norms of society. So it's always interesting to hear when people be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, well, they're not going to be socialized, or they're not going to be social," and I'm like, "That's good, because
yeah,
they get to be them. Like they're going to get
yeah,
to grow into themselves
yeah.
naturally, as opposed to like a
It's a
a
mode.
forced norm. Yeah,
Yeah.
mold. Like, we're
Wow.
not meant for that. Like, we're not trying to reach that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I think about like, we just went to the orchestra the other day. It was like open rehearsal, me and my children and my husband, and my son was so engulfed in it, and I've never seen him really care about music that much, so it was interesting. But I'm watching him look at this black male, conductor. He was a
Aw.
conductor,
Mhm.
and most of the, musicians were white, and so it was interesting to see this black male conducting, like, all these people, and then my son asked, he said, "How come he's their leader?" Of course, he 4. So, he's like, how come he's their leader?" He said I was like, "Because he made choices, he made choices for himself." But when you think about he made those choices, but they had to be, like, outside the norm, because you didn't see many of us in there, like, so those choices literally was him stepping outside of that mold, like, and
Right.
you see how now him stepping outside of that mold impacted my son, that
He's asking questions about
Like
it. He
asking the
know that,
question.
yeah, he
Yeah.
noticed. Now I got the same question. How is he hit that? Like, how do
Yeah.
you now just in general, how do a
Yeah.
conductor become a conductor? Like, do you
Yeah,
start
you're
your
right.
own orchestra? Like, do
Right.
you start the band? Or do
Right.
you
Right.
get like do they choose you? Like that's
Right.
interesting.
You just
I'm gonna
get the
have to
stick,
I
like,
know,
okay.
like yeah, like then I'm like, I want you and you, and then we
Right.
start our own stuff, or do y'all choose,
Yeah.
them? That's great question, sir. Great question, because I want to
Yeah, it
know
was
too.
real good. It was really cool to see that. It was really, like, eye-opener to see that he paid attention to that detail, like, cause there was, like, sprinkles of, like, Black and brown people in the orchestra itself, but it was just sprinkles of us, so to see that my son was paying attention to, like, all the levels of things happening, it was like, "Wow," like, and I was like, "I
And was
wanna do
able
that."
to distinguish that that's the leader. Like, oh,
Yeah,
he's leading them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I love
it was
that.
cool.
Representation matters so much. Like,
Yes,
people want to sweep it under the rug, but no, like you got to see yourself in these different spaces. Kids have to see themselves in
yeah,
these different spaces. People who look like them, because
yeah,
all that
'cause
matters.
they're asking, I don't know if it's just this generation, this past 10 years of generation of people, children, but they be asking, and I think too they have the space, whereas that, you grow up people don't grow up differently, especially in our community, that you're not able to ask that much, but that's been the most beautiful thing because I really realized how much I don't know.
Right? I know.
But
That's what children teach you. If nothing else, they
yes,
humble you
for
down.
real.
Like, girl, you don't know nothing.
Right. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know where the traffic light came from. I don't know. Like,
Let's look it up, guys.
right.
Let's look it up.
Ask Siri. But no, it does make me realize like how important questions are, and like that mold that we were just talking about too, like of how we're taught to not ask questions, or like if you don't know, then it's just you don't know. Like, and then it's just so much on the self-esteem and on like your being of just not feeling like ownership of your body enough to get answers, but also like where are the answers? And then they just go
Who do
all
I
these
ask?
unanswered questions.
Because my mama said don't ask.
Yeah.
Stop asking me all these
Like
questions.
where do
And
all
my
the
daddy said,
unanswered questions
yeah.
go? Yeah.
Right? Yes. Like they just float away. No, they're still there. They're still
Yeah.
wondering, and they're gonna wait until they get around their peers who gonna ask the answer, but get them
Right.
something that they think is right. Like, well, I heard, or
Yeah.
I think, or my mama said, like, and that's
Yeah.
why I always talk about talking to your kids, because, like, answer those questions. Those questions,
Yeah.
answer them. Even if they stump you, look them up. I tell you, like, my
Yeah.
kids used to be like, oh, do you know? Do you know? And then now they're on the level of, can we look up? Like,
Oh,
can we look
yeah.
up? Like,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
come that as opposed to thinking that I already know it. They like,
Right.
can we look at because we see you don't know that much. Like, look, we have come
Yeah.
to the conclusion
Right.
you don't know that much. So we
That's
will,
good though.
can we look it up though? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So
I love that. Little investigators.
yes, girl,
Yeah.
so
Researchers.
inquisitive, so inquisitive. But like you said, we're giving them the space. Like, our generation of parents are definitely welcoming those opinions and those questions and those,
Yeah.
like that curiosity. We're actually like, best
Yeah.
like feeding it, like asking more
Yeah.
questions, like asking them questions. Well, why do you think it's like that? Well, what do
Yeah.
you feel? How do you feel about it? How would you have made it if if
Yeah.
you were the one to have built it? How would you have created it?
I like that.
How would
Yeah.
it work better for you? Or, things like that. So I love this generation because
Yeah.
the cycles are being broken. Like that's what I see and that's what I hear. When I talk to
Yeah.
parents like
Yeah.
you, like I'm like, oh, okay, like, we're doing different. We're
Yeah.
definitely doing different.
Yeah, I love it too, cause you do see it, like, even when I'm out in public and I hear mom, like, or when I see a mom or dad, like, at eye level with their child, I'm like, "Okay,
Right?
I see you, I see."
Right.
That's
Oh,
a
she's
good little
parenting
reminder for
you.
me too.
Right? Yes, girl. Because sometimes I get down there to like, hey,
Right,
do you want these problems? Like,
right,
look, do you want these problems?
right,
Yes.
yeah,
But I love the level of conscious parenting, the intentional parenting that is
yeah.
taking place.
It's a
Even
humanizing experience. You see, like, children being humanized, and it's like Wow, they are humans.
Yes.
It because they don't evolve into human, they already human. Like when they are here, like beings that are here that are being deposited to and whatever they and that's what they become. And it's like, whoa, like you
Right.
really
Because
have
I
it. I'm in
always
charge.
I know, right? Like, 'cause, oh my gosh, like they make it so hard. I be telling my girls, like, yo, just give me these 18, and then after that, like, do your thing. What you want to
Yeah.
eat and drink and all that stuff, do your thing. 'Cause then that'd be
Yeah.
less of my responsibility. But
Yeah.
right now, no, you can't have the soda. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you
Yeah.
can't. You can't.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though we're being still met with the opposition of the older generation still, because I was part of the conversation. It's like 'cause she just be letting her kids do anything. She, like it's like it doesn't sit well with everyone,
Yeah.
but they're becoming more and more accepting because the parents is like, I don't care. Like this is what we
Yeah.
do. This is what we
Yeah,
do.
just come take a seat in it for a second and just
Yeah.
actually see, like what's happening, like before you take a snapshot of what you think is happening because it's a lot of hard work. I feel like it's way harder. Like on the days where I feel like to be a husband, like you have to notice like when you're your best and then like I could have did better. On the days where I feel like I'm really like, okay, like I'm very conscious of what I'm saying. I'm very conscious of what I'm doing. And so I feel like those are the harder days. That's more work to be actually conscious of what you're saying and doing, which in my opinion, that's our purpose here on life. Like, and for me being a believer, I'm like, this is what we're told to do. Like, biblically, like this is what we're told to do. And the other way is not right, but it's more culturally acceptable. Not even just in our community, but like in the world where children are seen as
Less than.
less.
Yeah. Less than.
Like, whoa.
I
And then how
call
do they become more?
I know. I call my kids my little people. Like when the
Yeah.
people ask me, "Oh, like my little people, my little ladies," like I call
Yeah.
them, just because I want people to always remember, like they're not just kids. They are people.
Mhm.
They
Our
are
people.
ladies in the
Yeah.
making. Like like they're just little. That's all.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing that's
Yeah.
separating them is their
Yeah.
size. Because I
Yeah.
always wonder what is real world that people like. Oh, when you get in the real world, when you get in the real world, and I'm just like, well, what
Yeah.
world are the kids in now? What
Right. Right.
like, can I go? Like, where they
Yeah.
at? Because they right here.
Right.
Like, she right
Is it
here.
an
She
island?
watching the
I want to
same
go.
thing as you. Like, they're watching and experiencing the same thing as you, but you're
Yeah.
feeling like they're not a part of the real world. Is like weird
Yeah.
to me. Like, that's always
And
been
like what you just deposited was something that affects their life, like and you think about every little deposit that we're giving, even like the when you go to places like my children say this thing where they're like, this is a grown up place. It's too grown up in here because they feel
means
the
it's not
pressure.
fun. I mean, it's not fun. That's what it means.
Yeah. And they feel that pressure for them to like, of course, children or people, you know, let's respect the space. That's why I tell my children respect the space. But they feel pressure that they can't mess up, or like if they mess up, like somebody's gonna say something, like, or if they are a little louder, like, it's just there's not a lot of child friendly places. So they even say that, is this a child friendly restaurant? Or is this and like they know where they feel welcome and where they feel a little bit more challenged. And so we try to stay away from those places for right now. But sometimes you can't, and so it's interesting to see them adjust to while like the world is not really adjusting to children, It's like you just want to be up, it's either like it's no gradual process for real, so that's
Then
why I'm
you
happy to be at home with him.
because it's wild too because just as soon as you turn 18 it's like, oh, you're an adult now. It's like,
Yeah,
look, 2 days ago
right,
you were
right,
child, oh, you a
right,
child,
yep,
you my child.
yep.
As soon as they're 18, but oh, you adult now. You an
You
adult now.
why you ain't
And
working? Why you ain't doing all of this stuff? Just like, did you
like,
even build me up for this? Like, did you?
because I've been a child this whole time. Like, you didn't
Yeah,
taught me nothing. You didn't show me nothing. You did all my laundry. You washed all
yeah,
the dishes. Like, you cooked all my food. You have not done anything to get me ready
yeah.
for this adult that you just don't threw me into, this adulthood. Yeah,
True, it's
no,
the right
it's
word.
interesting. It's an
Yeah.
interesting, yeah. Interesting,
concept.
right? I know it
Yeah.
is, but the work is being done. People are doing
Yeah.
different, so we always have to hone in on that. But I love to have these type of conversations, so parents,
Yeah.
just people be like, just food for thought, just something to think about. By all
Yeah.
means, because you're gonna do what you're gonna do regardless. Like, and by
Yeah.
all means, your way is your way. But just something to think about in
Yeah.
regards to kids and seeing them differently. How do you self
Mhm.
care? With all that you're doing, you got these four, six, under six and under. You got four
Yeah.
under six, well, under seven. How do
Yeah.
you take care of you, mama?
Ah, yeah. I've been trying to show up better at that because obviously, like, it trickles down, but uh I'm trying to do better because I'm also realizing that specifically my daughters, like, they've taught me so much about myself so much. We're like, okay, that needs work. But I'm watching them watching me take care of myself. And one day that they'll be wives and mothers, uh, what did they learn? What did I show them? Like, and that's how patterns, even stuff like that of me taking care of myself, like I would pass down an unhealthy pattern of me not regarding myself and then expecting, them to regard themselves in that position. And so I've been really trying because I really love them so much. So sometimes I be like trying to have it all, try to do it all. And so just share the load more with my husband because he's always like, can I can I do this? Which I'm thankful for him. Because I got a good one. I got a real good one. But trusting him in that space, and actually relieving that thing or 2 or 300 things, that I'm doing and doing something for myself as small as, like, a foot bath, which is, cool. But I also for me, I like baths altogether, the whole body submerged in the water. I like it. So I try to do it on Mondays, to kinda start off the week. I try to do it on Monday evenings or Sunday evenings so I can just start off like, okay, and Epsom salt. I love it so much. Uh, and yeah, I've been trying to read more, so that's a positive thing that the babies can see. Because I'm always reading them 100 books, but I'm like, I like books. So I've been trying to read more things that'll build me up and that make me feel good and empowered as I go back out there, with the babies. Um, and then sometimes that just means go to walk and sit on the porch for a second while they're in the house, get some fresh air. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I'm still defining what self care looks like. It took me a little bit because like we almost 6 years in with twins, and I realized how unhealthy that is to show them that and how just it's not benefiting anybody. And that I do really matter when it comes to like this whole space. Like there's not just them mattering and my husband mattering, that I matter too and how I take care of myself. So I'm trying to do better at that. Cause how mamas get, we just get at it, and then as a homeschool mom, I don't know if it's like this extra thing. It feels like it's an extra thing because it's like now you're always trying to look at the resources. You're always trying to see what's out there. Because maybe it's that imposter syndrome a little bit sometimes, to where you kind of overdo it. So lately, I'm trying to like pull back on that, like unclutter our schedule, like declutter our home, stuff like that. Feels like self care to me too. So yeah,
Long as you're recognizing that you deserve it, one,
yeah,
and that is it's a priority, not
yeah,
an option. So I love
yes,
that you put it in the sense of understanding. My little ladies are watching me, and they need to see me taking care of me, so they know that they need to
yeah.
take care of them also.
Yeah, cause 'cause I'm like, my mama, she used to have well, she used to do her nails, like,
Mhm.
and she stayed dressed, and I didn't
Mhm.
realize how important it is to get dressed until I became a mother. Like, just put on some clothes, like, and not just it's cool to chill, but, like, identifying even clothes that make you feel good, versus, like, just the pajama pants I didn't wore 2 days in the war. It's 2 days in a row, you know? Just stuff like small little things like that I get it, like, now, like, with my mom, I'm like, "Dang, yeah, her nails was painted, she used to do orange and stuff." And I don't know if orange is, like, making her feel good, but I remember orange paint. And she used to be cute. And I'm like, "Dang, how did she have energy to do that, though?" But she made time. She made that time, she made that a priority for her, and I get it
Yes,
now. Yeah.
yeah. You definitely have to. I know mine is painting my nails. I do that. Like
Yeah,
that's like
they're
when
cute too.
they looking all crazy, I'm like, oh, something's wrong. Like
Yeah.
like this how you know something's not right now. Like look at them. But I do like take time once a week to sit down and paint my nails. Because one,
Good.
it makes you sit still because you gotta wait for them to dry. Because you don't want to mess
Oh,
them up. But like just two is just like really, like you said, it's just putting that effort into looking some kind of way because I'm a jogger and slides type of person.
yeah,
That's me every day. I actually have on
yeah,
pants right now. I'm proud of myself. I got some jeans on.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, normally I don't.
Yeah,
Normally
that's
I
what make you
don't.
feel good.
So if my nails are painted, I feel accomplished in life in general. So
Yeah. Yeah, they cute.
accomplished right now. Look, accomplished right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. But yes, no, I'm glad that you are recognizing and understanding that that importance though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so because I've held you hostage for way, way longer than you were supposed to be here. But before I
Yeah.
let you go,
Yeah.
3 things you want to leave families with. Like if they didn't hear nothing else in this conversation, like 3 things you want to leave families with. Food for thought.
Yeah. Okay. I think since having my son, the baby, like my quick thinking is a little slower.
No worries.
You
Take
know,
your
it kind of
time.
takes
Take your
some
time.
time, but
Yeah, take your time.
um no, for real, it's funny because I know like the reason why I initially signed up like to be a part of the Detroit conference was to like encourage families to get unplugged as much as possible. Though, like again, I am not the person to be like, screens, toss it out the window. But just to see how, first of all, what you miss by looking at our screens, even myself, like on my phone. I've been struggling lately to be very transparent. So you think about the amount of screen time versus the amount of time that you just won't get back with your children, and vice versa, like them and the time that they won't get back from you, that literally we can't undo and redo it. So just as much as time to get unplugged, because it'll be worth it. It may seem like tedious to be like, oh, whatever, what to do with these children at this time when they're not on the tablets or the TVs and stuff, but it's definitely worth it, because I've seen it in my family, and I've seen it with other families that are, that I kinda talk to and stuff, about it, so unplug as much as possible, um, so you can stop and smell the roses, and see the roses at that. Uh, what else? What else could I see? Definitely, know that you are your child's first teacher, and that you are enough, and what you have inside of you is enough, and when you don't feel like you're enough, there's resources and things out there to add to you, um, like co-ops, like Engage Detroit. I'm gonna hype y'all up again. That's in Detroit, Metro Detroit, and support groups too. Like the one that I'm actually started is called Unplugged Joy. Uh, it's kind of buzzing a little bit right now on social media, but that's the whole part. I want to be unplugged, so I'm trying to get more in person programs and stuff, which I'll be starting in Metro Detroit just to try to get families connected in person and not have to rely so much on our phones to just be able to regularly meet. Uh, so yeah, to stay connected for sure, so that you can feel empowered in your parenting journey, that you're enough. And definitely be okay with sharing the load. Uh, because even in this conversation, I realized that like how I don't I don't have a lot of these moments of like talking and talking about my home and my experience and stuff like that because for me, I feel like I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it with them. And so they downstairs laughing and stuff. I'm like, what they laughing
Oh,
about?
I know. Oh, you.
I want to, I want to play, because I really enjoyed it. But it is important to have these conversations and these moments, and to share the load so that the people that are in their lives can experience and they can experience other people, um, as well, that is still quality and that you're still showing up for them by allowing other people to show up for them too. So, um, yeah, I definitely say that part is really important, more important than I imagined, to be honest. Yeah,
Oh, for that load to be taken.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And you got a little adult one on one. Like this year, some
Yeah,
adult time, extra adult time. Like,
it's been good. Yeah.
all is well. But yes, I appreciate you and I look forward to meeting you in Detroit. So good times, good times. But families, I feel like there's been enough said. So I'm gonna just
Yeah.
say, always and forever, homeschool your kids.
Yes. Yes.